Ever since the announcement of Anthem at E3 of 2017, I have been patiently awaiting more information on this game. I can't wait for it to come out. I'm very interested in the systems and stuff that they have involved with this game, but these are 15 of the things you may not know about Anthem, so let's talk about them. What up everybody, it's your boy Gaming Forte, back at it with another video. Make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, make sure you do all of those things along with the notification bell so you can know the next time one of my videos go live. Now, when you talk about Anthem, you need to start at the beginning. First, you start off as a freelancer. You command power suits of armor called javelins. These suits have their own abilities, their own stats, and you customize them to your liking. They give you the ability to explore the world in these javelins, and they are essential for you to survive and to take out the threat that you are going up against in this very ravished world. There's also 4 javelins you can choose from, one being the Ranger, which is the default assault class with decent mobility. There's also the Colossus, which is the heavy javelin that can rain down mortar strikes and it tanks damage as well. Now they did showcase the caster style javelin alongside the speedy interceptor. All of these javelins can fly, but their ability to do so will be limited. When it comes to picking your javelin, you don't have to have a separate character to actually use those javelins. Every character, or every freelancer in this case, can actually use any javelin. Each javelin does have a different skill tree associated with it, so that will be where the mid-maxing and grind in this game will be. As you progress through the game, you can go from one javelin to the next, progressing through their skill tree and actually using the loadouts to your best of your abilities for the situation that you have at hand. Now, BioWare has come out and confirmed that you will be able to make extra characters for your game if you would like to, but like I said earlier, you won't have to if you don't want to, just for the simple fact that all of your javelins are where your stats and your increases will be at, not on your freelancer themselves. Now, it would be very remiss if we didn't talk about the play to win status that most of EA games have at their service, but when it comes to Anthem, we don't have to worry about that because it looks like the game will have unlockable, customizable items for you to actually buy in store, but everything that you can buy will be earnable through in-game progression, which is something that we're definitely excited to see in this game. And BioWare did come out and confirm this by saying that all microtransactions will be cosmetic forever, and that's really good to hear. Now, when it comes to the type of game we're going to be playing with Anthem, the development team wanted to stress to everyone that this is not an MMO. It's very much a shared world game in the veins of games like Destiny and The Division, but they did confirm that the game will have playable solo areas and that its intended way to be played is obviously with other people. So you can play this game any way you want to, it really just comes down to you. But BioWare did confirm that there will be single player story missions in the game that you can only play by yourself, and on top of the game's story missions that will be playable with other people, these story missions will not block you from finishing the main storyline of the game. They're just optional story missions that you can do with other people in your party or fire team. Now, since we're on the story of talking about playing with other people, let's talk about multiplayer. Multiplayer is required to play this game, and when I mean multiplayer, I mean online only. You can still play by yourself, but the game requires an internet to play the game, period. Just like Destiny, just like Division, these games are ever-changing worlds where they introduce new things into the world, and you have to have an internet connection to keep the world persistent with other players. And even with that being said, a lot of people are wondering what the story in Anthem is going to be like because BioWare isn't known for making games like this. Well, Casey Hudson wanted to really ensure gamers that this game was going to still have that BioWare flair. They said they wanted to make a multiplayer game that didn't have a story that sort of was bowed on to the side, and they wanted to make sure that it was actually fitting of the story and world that they were building. The game will have player-centric narrative styles like BioWare games usually do. Hub areas in the game, which BioWare referred to as forts, will be single-player areas where players' actions will impact the narrative. So they're going really deep in the actual narrative side of it, but one thing they did say, there will not be any romance options in the game at launch. They did clarify and say if people wanted to see that at a later date, with the world being a persistent change and being online only, they could enter that into the fray at a later date. There will be no desert or frozen environments in the game at launch. Once again, can be added at a later date. And the dialogue tree that you really saw in all the Mass Effect games and the Dragon Age games, it will be there, but it will be very simplified. They really want to concentrate on the action that this game is going to have at its core, but they said they're still going to have that narrative freedom to actually progress you through the story in a narrative front on top of the action front too. But they did say action will take precedent in this game over everything everything else. And before I move on to the next point, I definitely want to bring up the point that there is no PvP in this game at launch. BioWare said that they were really against it just because of the balance considerations that they have for gear and loot in the game, and they wanted to be very creative with the loot that they put in it. Now, one thing that I will agree with on that is the fact that when you have those two things tied together, it usually hurts one or the other when it comes to like the competitive balance in the game. Now in PvE, you can go crazy all out because all you're doing is going against NPCs or computer generated players in the game, versus PvP, you're going against other people, so you want to have it be somewhat of a fair landscape. You want it to be balanced to an extent, and I know if they added stuff like that into the game and tried to make it a shared word shooter just like Division and Destiny, that would be a very tall task. I think that it kind of sucks that they're not doing it, because I feel like you're a developer and you should be able to figure that out, but I do understand where they're coming from, because that is one of the biggest gripes that people that play Destiny have, having a balanced PvE and a balanced PvE, you know, to basically tie it all together. It works when it's great, but then you have those instances where it gets broken all together. So I definitely understand them going in that direction. So we talked about multiplayer, we talked about how single player is going to be implemented into the game, but we didn't talk about what you'll be doing in a single player and why you're doing it. So in the interest of time, I'm going to give you the quick version of this. Ever since the disappearance of our gods, our world has plunged into chaos, which wouldn't be too bad, but it looks like they left behind this item called the Anthem of Creation. It's a tool of creation, but it also can be used for a different purpose. The Anthem is drumming up deadly storms that are threatening to destroy the inhabitants of the world. Now, just hearing that description basically is like every other action game in existence when it comes to saving yourself from oblivion, but they also had these groups known as the Dominion, which are trying to harness the Anthem as a weapon, and it will serve as the game's primary antagonist. So overall, that's cool. I just had a Star Trek vibe for a second. The Dominion, what was that, Deep Space Nine, I believe? Yeah, because Deep Space Nine was next to the wormhole. But yeah, that's really cool. But when I think wormholes, I think about destruction, and there's no real destruction in Anthem. At least they said it will not be prominent in Anthem. So it is being built on a Frostbite engine, so we know how beautiful that engine can be. We also know the destructive capabilities of that engine, but they said it just won't be prominent in the game. So these are the 15 things that you needed to know about Anthem. There will be way more things that come up over the course of the next 6 to 7 months before the game is released on February 22nd of 2019, which I guess will probably be number 16. So I guess this will be 16 things you probably needed to know about Anthem. But guys, I'm super excited for this game. I'll keep you posted on anything that I find out about it as the time and the days go by. And I just want to ask you guys a question. Are you excited for Anthem? Is this a game that you're going to pick up on day one? Or are you still waiting to see what EA and BioWare has in store for us on February 22nd of 2019? And guys, like I always say, thanks for watching this video. Sub to the channel if you haven't. Like this video if you like the content. It definitely helps out the channel a lot. Turn on those notifications, gonna let you know the next time one of my videos go live. It's your boy Gaming Forte. You guys have a great week, and I'm gonna talk to you the next video. Peace.